Hey there everyone, my name is Brendan and welcome back to the Crypto Analyst channel. And I hope all of you guys are having a great day no matter where you are from, because there's a lot going on in the great world of crypto. And I feel like I start off every video saying that, but there's just continually so much to talk about because there's a lot of work going on in the background. And I want to make sure that all of you are aware. So most recently here, we have new developments in the FTX case, and it looks like they are going to be paying back everyone what they lost, but it's not quite what you think. So I want to make sure that I cover that topic. We also have Visa enabling crypto withdrawals on their debit cards in over 145 different countries. We have new outlets going in from private wallets so that now people can buy and sell from wallets like MetaMask. And then, of course, the last thing that I want to talk about here is the big Ethereum upgrade that we have coming up, because now we have a date set on that of February 8th. So we're going to be talking about all this in the news, and of course we're going to be taking a look at the charts because things are doing quite well right now. You look at Bitcoin, you look at Ethereum, both of the large caps are rebounding. You also have things like Chainlink and Solana and IMX and Celestia and Sui all doing really well. And so there's again a lot that I want to discuss in today's market update. But before we begin, all that we ask is that if you like the content that we make, consider hitting the like button, consider hitting the subscribe button, and maybe check out some of the links in the description down below as well. So let's kick things off with the news first and switch things up a bit. Well, what's happening with this FTX case? Well, for a while, there was a debate about FTX actually trying to reboot the exchange and relaunch. Now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, but what is very likely to happen here is that FTX will actually be paying back out its customers. So a lot of people are going to say, hey, that's great. I had one Bitcoin when they collapsed. Maybe that was worth $15,000. And now that Bitcoin's worth almost $40,000, actually over $40,000 now. Well, the bad news here is that instead of paying you out the amount of crypto that you lost, they're going to ideally be paying you out the dollar amount that it was worth at the time of the collapse. So I hope you kind of understand the difference there. Again, I'm not sure if this is finalized yet, but it's looking like that's the way that they're going to be paying back their investors. So you will get the amount that you lost back at the time of the collapse, as opposed to getting the amount of cryptocurrency that you lost, if that makes sense. And so that's the way that things are looking right now. And again, we're getting increasingly more information on this as it's coming out. But for those investors who are kind of looking to recoup that money, just a heads up, if you are applying and going through this process and you're realizing it's not what you thought, that's probably one of the main reasons why. Now, in some really bullish news, we have Visa back at the forefront of crypto. So Visa is a massive payment provider and processor. They really need no introduction over here. But they're enabling crypto withdrawals on debit cards in 145 different countries. Basically, on a global scale, this thing is about to happen. So what does this mean? Well, MetaMask users can now sell crypto directly to a Visa card, which eliminates the need for things like centralized exchanges, things like Kraken, Binance, Coinbase, KuCoin, etc. And so this is a big step forward towards onboarding, because for a while, people didn't want to mess with wallets. They're like, I can't buy it and I can't sell in a wallet. Yeah, I know that it's safer, but I have to go through the setup process and keep track of my seed phrase and run my insecurity. And while it was a safer process, people were kind of steered away from it because it was a little bit less user-friendly. But now what we're seeing is that that gap is really being bridged. While wallets still remain a safer option than centralized exchanges, people are now able to buy and sell off of them on a lot of the big name wallets. And so this isn't a feature on everyone. Obviously, MetaMask is the example here, but we have seen other wallets start to roll out features like this, where you can actually buy and sell inside of a private wallet, which is a really cool thing to kind of see. So we're seeing this about to happen on a global scale from one of the biggest names in the payment space. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about on the news front was just this Ethereum upgrade. Now, we've covered this a couple of times on the channel and in Crypt Nation and everything else in between. But basically, this Ethereum Dencun upgrade is looking like it's going to happen on February 8th. So if you're like, Brendan, what in the world is a Dencun upgrade for Ethereum? Essentially, this is the next step in Ethereum's roadmap to increasing scalability. So this will introduce proto-dank sharding amongst other features, and overall, it's supposed to increase the efficiency of layer 1s and layer 2s that are directly tied to Ethereum's blockchain. Now, I guess the result of this, the result is to increase efficiency, which will drastically decrease gas fees. And one of the cool things that we can actually see over here is that if we go to like Etherscan, Etherscan gas fees are actually really low right now. And so we've seen gas fees in recent days like under $1, around $1, which is wild. Previously people were paying 10, 20, 25, $30 for a gas fee. And we're already seeing efficiency kind of increase, and we're seeing lower gas fees. And this is before the upgrade actually happens. Now, is this going to be the final form of Ethereum? Obviously not. There's still a lot left in Vitalik's roadmap to make this thing much faster. But this is hopefully going to be kind of a quick fix to increase throughput just a little bit more. Now, on the chart side of things are starting to turn around. And one of the big reasons that the crypto market was kind of falling here recently is because if you look at the outflows to inflows of some of these recent Bitcoin ETFs, and man, I wish I had a picture in front of me to kind of show this stuff. But if you look at the inflows to outflows of these ETFs, most of them actually had really good inflows, with the exception of one. And that one was Grayscale's GBTC. And so with GBTC, there was a lot of selling pressure, people really taking profits. Also, FTX, talking about what we mentioned earlier, they were approved to sell $1 billion worth of their GBTC shares. And this created a lot of selling pressure and outflows. The good news is that that is slowly drying up. It went from like 400 billion a day down to 3, down to 2, and now it's looking like it's below 200 billion a day. And so that number is gradually falling, which is why that we are seeing the buyers kind of come back in here. Because when there is less selling pressure from the Grayscale side of things, well, all the other ETFs are seeing massive inflows. And so if you look at things like BlackRock, for example, they're seeing just insane amounts of buying from their side. And now the ETFs in their entirety equate to about 3.5% of Bitcoin supply. So think about that for a sec. I mean, this thing has been out for 2 weeks, and we already have a several percent of Bitcoin supply being gobbled up by this. Now, the crazy thing here is that this equates to around a little over $10 billion in buying pressure and inflows. What we're going to see here is that, it's estimated that there's supposed to be another 90 billion, which means that the market share of how much these ETFs hold can certainly increase. Now, will there be the supply to meet that demand? Maybe not. And so what that would do is that would have to drive prices upwards. And there's a lot of theories around that. Regardless, as the inflows are starting to become big again and kind of outpace the outflows, prices are on the rise. Crypto's looking good. Bitcoin's back on the move. And Ethereum is as well. Granted, it's a little bit different than what Bitcoin's doing. However, we are seeing Bitcoin dominance it was moving really, really strong, broke above the 50. And now in the last 2 days, it's seen 2 red days, which is something that we really didn't see on the initial move up. So the big kind of, I guess, I don't want to say catalyst, but one of the big factors to kind of look at here is that altcoins outside of Ethereum's network are actually doing really, really well. And so you look at things like the Solana ecosystem, which we covered on Wednesday. And so if you want to go see and get more info on everything that's happening on Solana, go to the Crypto 101 podcast YouTube, because there we did a whole segment. It was like a 45-minute segment, and a big portion of that was dedicated towards explaining just everything that's going on with the Solana network. We talk about the fundamentals, the technicals, and how it's all being reflected on the price chart or on the candle chart here. But Solana's really not alone in this. You go and you look at things like Celestia and Sui and Chainlink, for example, which is one that literally just shot up to new yearly highs over here. And we're seeing a full-on popcorn season, as people like to call it, happening in the altcoin space right now. So some of the higher market cap cryptos, you look at Ethereum, you look at Litecoin, you look at XRP, you look at BNB. A lot of those are being slower movers at the moment. And then a lot of the mid caps are seeing a ton of love. And so it's something that I've kind of noticed over here in the market lately. And again, it goes back to this idea of we're not just in a one coin season. I don't believe in maximalism where it's just Bitcoin wins or it's just Ethereum wins or it's just whatever, fill in the blank. I think that there's room for many different projects to succeed here since, a lot of these projects work in vastly different verticals. And so we're looking at this from a risk perspective. And again, I'm seeing a lot of opportunity. We talked about, really the opportunity with Bitcoin directly at the first half of this video. But I want to make sure that I emphasize on the second half here that there is an opportunity all around for, the big caps like Bitcoin and Ethereum, for the mid caps, the small caps. There is an opportunity here in crypto. And personally, I don't think we are really even that close to a top yet. But other than that, I hope all of you are enjoying this popcorn season that we're having. Again, lots of great fundamental developments, lots of great technical developments. We like what we're seeing across the board over here. So if you did like this video, all that we ask is that you hit that like button, you hit that subscribe button, and you check out some of the links that we have as well. Because if you're someone who wants to get more involved in the crypto space and you want to get plugged into a community, we think this is the best place to do it. So thank all of you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.